Are you curious about the steps of how to become an art therapist? Well, I am going to be reviewing that today. My name is Leah Guzman. I'm a board certified art therapist, and I've been practicing art therapy for over 21 years. It's actually one of the most popular questions that I get from so many people that are curious of how to become an art therapist. So I'm going to be talking about the steps that you can take in the United States of America. I'm not quite sure about internationally, so I'm going to just focus on how to become an art therapist in the United States, okay? So I actually found out about art therapy when I was in high school, right? And when I got into college, I actually had the opportunity to experience art therapy for myself because I was experiencing high anxiety and I wanted to seek some support. So one of my first recommendations, if you are interested in the field of art therapy, go experience it for yourself. You can find a local art therapist, you can find someone online, and do the work, right? So that you can really know if it's a fit for you. Okay, so I felt that was really helpful, and after experiencing, I found someone that I could work with individually, and I actually went to some group workshops. I went to a retreat, and I was like, you know what? I love this. This is something I want to learn more about. The other recommendation that I would recommend is to be of service. So if you already know that you love art and you're interested in psychology, and this is a field that you want to learn more about, you can go ahead and volunteer. And so what I say is that you not volunteer as an art therapist because you have to have the credentials and go get a master's degree in art therapy to say that you're practicing art therapy, but you can go and volunteer, okay? You can find somewhere, wherever you live, and be of service. So for example, when I was in college and I knew that this was the field that I wanted to get into, I decided to go to a local hospital. At that time, I was going to the Art Institute of San Francisco, and I was living in San Francisco. So I went to the hospital and I volunteered in the unit that had patients with Alzheimer's. So I would go on a weekly basis and I would make art with the patients there. And they wouldn't remember me. I would come back every week and it was like a fresh start each time. But I was able to get a feel of what it was like connecting with someone, right? Because art therapy is about the relationship, and then offering the opportunity to connect with them and giving them an outlet to express their feelings, okay? So I wasn't necessarily doing art therapy, but I was in a place where art was definitely an option for the patients and residents to work with, and it felt really on purpose. Like I was like, oh, this feels like I'm in alignment. This is definitely the direction I want to go in. Okay, so you could do that now. You could find an organization and be a part of the community and offer healing art. Okay. So the second step, once you know that this is the field that you want to go into, I would suggest doing some research in what master's level program is going to be a fit for you, okay? And if you check out the American Art Therapy Association online, it has a list of programs that are accredited, right? Now there are these certificates that are online, and they're just a couple $100 that says you can get your art therapy practitioner. Please do not fall for this. This is not a master's degree level. It's not rigorous. It's not going to give you the foundation to really support people who have needs. And these needs are, with mental health. So you're not going to get that background. So I want you to really look at programs that are online at the American Art Therapy Association so that you can get the right kind of education and to support people. So if you have your undergraduate, it can be in art, it could be in psychology. I voted for the art because I love making art. It lights me up. And it's really important to have that foundation of knowing how to use materials, right? Especially if you're going to be supporting people with their mental health. So, you have to have a certain number of psychology classes, a certain number of art classes. And as you look for colleges, you want to think about where you want to live, right? A master's degree is a 2-year program where you might have to move, right? Thinking about location. So the possibilities could be a private college. It could be a college that is a public college, okay? And the biggest difference between those two, public versus private, is really the pricing, okay? So this is something you really want to consider. I'm pretty practical, so pricing was important to me. At that time, I was living in Georgia, and I looked at actually universities that were up north, and I felt like that was too far away. And so I looked at Florida State University, and that actually ended up working out really well for me because I was living in Georgia at the time, and it was a neighboring state of Florida State, and they actually gave me in-state tuition. So I got really hooked up with that aspect. But when I went and I visited, so I highly recommend going to visit where you would potentially want to live. Does it feel like a fit for you? So it definitely felt like a fit for me because I actually grew up in Florida, and I was like, yeah, I like this vibe here. This is somewhere that I wouldn't mind living for a couple of years, right? So, and each program also might have a different curriculum. You're going to learn all about different theoretical approaches and things like that. And you might not know what population, who you want to work with yet. And that's okay, because that's why you're getting into a master's degree, so that you can actually experience internships and working with people to find out like what's a good fit for you. Okay. So like I said, consider the location, go check it out in person. And also thinking about cost, like what feels like a good fit for you. Okay. The other component that you might want to think about now, this was offered actually when I was going to school too. There is a dual program where you can get your license in mental health counseling as well, and the art therapy degree too. So if that's something that resonates with you, if it's something you want to work with insurance, or you want to do private practice with, just private pay, that's, these are all choices that you can make as you're growing your practice, as thinking about like who you want to work with and where you want to work as well. But you gotta get your feet wet, right? So that's what's really nice about programs, is that once you get in there, you get to practice working with population. The other component that's available now, because I went to school, 21 years ago, which is a long time ago, but there are online options. And those work a little bit differently, and maybe you don't want to move from where you're at and you want to stay living where you're at. They do have options that you can take classes online. I believe it's a little bit longer program, but you have to go there like a certain time during the summer to get some credits for your classes. So you could check that out too, right? I'm sure, finding an option that fits for you. So when I talked about population, I said you might not know once you get started, like who you want to work with, because there's so many places that you can work. You can work at schools, hospitals, treatment centers. You could do a private practice, getting your feet wet and different experiences to say, this is what I want to do, and this is who I want to work with. So I had the lovely opportunity when I was at Florida State to do an internship at a juvenile jail, a school system, public school, and a psychiatric hospital, a state hospital. Wow, they were all intense. They were all amazing. I loved working at each one of those. But when I was done with my 2-year degree, the public school really resonated with me. I was like, you know what? I really want to work with kids. I really want to work with them on a longer term basis. At the psychiatric hospital, I worked with just inpatient only for a few days till they were stabilized, and they left, so I wouldn't be able to see them again. And then the school was the place where I felt like it most resonated, right? So having those experiences really does shape those next steps of what direction you want to go in. And I actually got a job working with a public school, and it's been amazing, right? So yes, if this kind of information is resonating with you, you're welcome to ask questions in the comments below. If you want to experience or get a taste of art and healing, you're welcome to subscribe to this channel, which is amazing. I do show some different techniques to help you regulate your nervous system. And we also have the Creative Soul Society, which is wonderful membership that I've been providing art and healing workshops for about 5 years now. And we gather on Monday evenings where we learn new techniques and experiences from other artists, from other art therapists. And it's all about, building that toolkit so that you can feel good and use your art as a superpower. So you're welcome to check that out at leahguzmanstudio.com. Okay. All right. I'm so happy that you're here. And if you have any other questions, just please let me know. Have a great day. Bye.